The smell of rain always reminds me of the night my life turned into a lie. I used to think that love was a shield, something that protected you from the harshness of the world. I was Elena, a woman who gave her heart, her bank account, and her very identity to a man named Marcus. We lived in a world of glass and gold, a penthouse that touched the clouds, and a marriage that seemed unbreakable. I spent 10 years building his dreams, stitching together the pieces of his ambition with the thread of my own soul. I thought I was a partner, I didn't know I was a sacrifice. The betrayal didn't happen with a scream. It happened with a signature. Marcus had been weaving a web of financial crimes, laundering money, forging documents, and hiding his tracks, and he used my name as the ink. When the federal agents burst through our mahogany doors, I looked at Marcus, expecting to see fear for us. Instead, I saw a cold, calculated silence. He didn't even look at me. He had prepared his exit strategy months in advance, leaving a trail of digital breadcrumbs that led straight to my feet. While I was being handcuffed, he whispered one final, chilling truth into my ear: the world only remembers the winner, Elena. Thank you for being the loser I needed. Then came the cold. The iron bars of the women's correctional facility didn't just lock me in, they locked the world out. My friends, the people who drank my wine and laughed at my table, vanished like smoke in a gale. My parents had passed away years ago, and I was truly, terrifyingly alone. The first year in prison was a descent into madness. I slept on a thin mattress that smelled of bleach and despair. I watched the seasons change through a sliver of reinforced glass. The physical pain of the environment was nothing compared to the rotting ache of being betrayed by the person I loved most. I was a fallen socialite, a target for every bully in the yard. I was beaten, I was humiliated, and I was broken. But there is a specific kind of strength that only grows in the dark. One night, lying on the cold concrete floor after a particularly brutal day, I realized that I had two choices: I could die in this cell, or I could become the person Marcus was too afraid to be. I began to use the prison library not just to pass time, but as a war room. I studied corporate law, forensic accounting, and emerging technologies. I spent 4 years analyzing the very systems Marcus used to destroy me. I turned my cell into a classroom, my mind into a weapon. I learned that money is just energy, and I was going to learn how to harness the lightning. When I was finally released on a gray, drizzling morning, I had nothing but a plastic bag of belongings and a heart made of flint. I walked the streets of the city I once owned, now a ghost among the living. I slept in shelters where the air was thick with the scent of unwashed bodies and lost hope. I worked 3 jobs: scrubbing floors at a midnight diner, sorting trash at a recycling plant, and typing data for pennies. Every dollar I saved didn't go toward a better meal or a softer bed, it went toward a cheap, refurbished laptop and a corner in a public library with free Wi-Fi. I saw a gap in the market that no one else saw, a way to secure digital assets using a decentralized verification system that even the most corrupt banker couldn't manipulate. I was building a fortress of transparency. I lived on coffee and old bread, coding until my eyes bled and my fingers cramped. I was a woman with a criminal record, a homeless woman, a woman with no one, but I was a woman with a vision. The turning point came when I crashed a tech conference. I didn't have an invite. I walked in through the kitchen, wearing a thrift store suit I had spent 3 hours ironing. I cornered a legendary investor in the hallway. I didn't ask for a handout, I asked for 5 minutes. I showed him my code. I showed him the future. He saw the fire in my eyes, the kind of fire that only burns in those who have lost everything and have nothing left to fear. The rise was meteoric. Within 3 years, my company, Vanguard Secure, became the gold standard for global finance. I moved from the basement to the boardroom. I didn't just regain my wealth, I tripled it. I became the CEO the industry feared and respected. But I wasn't done. The final act of my transformation happened at a global economic forum. I was the keynote speaker, standing on a stage bathed in white light. In the third row, I saw a man who looked older, haggard, and desperate. It was Marcus. He had lost his firm in a series of bad bets and was now a consultant for a dying bank. After my speech, he approached me in the VIP lounge, his eyes searching mine for a flicker of the old Elena. He reached out to touch my arm, a fake, charming smile on his face. "Elena," he whispered, "I always knew you were a survivor. We were a great team, weren't we? Imagine what we could do now." I looked at him, not with hatred, but with a terrifying, calm indifference. "Marcus," I said, my voice like ice, "you didn't survive. You just haven't realized you're dead yet." I signaled to my security detail. "This man is not on the list. Please escort him out of the building. And make sure he never gets an invite to an event I am attending again." As he was led away, shouting my name, I felt the last weight of the past lift from my shoulders. I realized that the prison hadn't been the building with the bars, the prison had been my life with him. My betrayal was the key that unlocked my true potential. I am Elena. I am a survivor, a titan, and a woman who built a kingdom from the ashes of her own heart. And I am just getting started. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel for more powerful stories. Your support means the world.